Hey, it's Grady at Twin Creek Audio back in the studio today. Today I've got another mixing video for you. I'm going to be mixing another song from my 2010 album Subliminal Moonshine. This song is called Another World, and it's a pretty cool rock song. And I remember trying to mix this on the console back in the day, but I think the released version is actually an in-the-box mix. So today I'm going to mix it through the Soundcraft Sapphyre and do the full console mix thing. I'm going to do this a different style than usual too. I actually hooked up a secondary rig to capture a voice mic and the mix output of the console at the same time so that I can kind of do a more real-time type mix today. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. But anyway, let's get into this. I'm just going to kind of get straight into the mix, and I'll be able to talk to you while I'm deciding what to do in the mix and that kind of stuff. It's going to be really cool. Yeah, I'm experimenting with all different kinds of angles. So I got the song up here on the console. Got kick, snare, stereo toms, overheads, and hi-hat combination. The small faders up here are sending to bus 1 and 2 for some parallel compression on the kick, snare, and the toms. This is a drum room mic. I don't have any processing going on to that. This is bass guitar. I have that going through the Symmetrix 501 compressor. This drum submix, by the way, is the LA Audio 4x4 compressor. Bass guitar, like I said, this is the main clean electric guitar, and then a lot of different guitar tracks down here. Down here at the end is the outro solo. This is a harmonized guitar part, or an octave part, like a melody line, with this guitar solo here on top of it. And then the lead vocal, and then we've got acoustic guitar, and then the outro solo and the return from the NuX Atlantic delay and reverb is here, and I have that on quite a few things in the mix. I've got it on the harmonized guitar and on the lead guitar solo. The drums I have mainly going to the Yamaha Rev 500 digital reverberator. So it's going to be a cool mix. So I've got this set up completely different today, where I can play the track, and I've got this Sennheiser 421 here so you can hear my voice. Sounds pretty good so far with just the little bit that I've done to it. And I have some EQ on the kick drum, boosting a little bit of high mids for some attack, and a little bit of the high frequency shelving EQ on the kick drum. Snare drum, I'm actually boosting some low shelving EQ, boosting at 7K for some snap, and then I'm taking out a little bit of low mids. Usually that's around 400 or so, depending on where it sounds bad to my ears. The tom tracks, I'm boosting some lows with the low shelf filter up here, and also boosting some low mids on the toms. The overheads, I'm boosting 7K and 12K and taking out some low mids. The room mic, I'm taking out a little bit of that super high end at 12K with the high shelf. I'm taking out some upper mids, kind of that clashy, nasty region, somewhere, between 800 and 1200 sometimes, and sometimes it can be up a little bit higher, around 3 kilohertz, just wherever it's trashy. Bass guitar, taking out some lows and some highs, and boosting some high mids so you can actually hear the tone of the bass. And this was a PV Patriot bass. Played through a Great River ME1NV mic preamp, played through the DI input, and the vocal track and all the guitars were used, the same mic preamp was used. The guitar tracks are mostly a 1971 Fender Twin Reverb with an SM57 and the Great River mic preamp. The drums would have all been Soundtrack's Topaz preamps. except maybe the room mic, and that could have been a PreSonus or some kind of outboard preamp, but most of that stuff was tracked through the Topaz. Let's listen a little more to some of these tracks. That's the room track right there, and it's just that kick drum's really big in that track, and getting a little bit of that hi-hat that sounds pretty cool. So we'll seat that in the mix. Not too loud. Those crashy cymbals sound kind of nasty. That's better. There's bass. I might have a little too much attack dialed into that, so it's really snapping a lot. And again, the bass is running through the Symmetrix 501 compressor. The guitars, I don't really have anything on those. I have a little bit of compression in the box on the acoustic guitar, and that's it. The electric guitars, I don't have any kind of compression on those. Got an electric piano track on here. Let's see, here's the piano where it starts. That's a cool sounding piano track. It's a Kawai Baby Grand electric piano that I used to have. And I didn't have that panned out before now, so I'm going to pan that out a little bit. And then I'm going to actually put some of the highs back into that. It seems like it's a little dark sounding. So let's try to find some sparkle. Use some of the nice EQ here on the Sapphyre and boost some kind of high mids and a little bit of this 12K, which does sound really nice on the Sapphyre. Okay, let's see how that does with the piano now. That's a lot better, and I actually used the low shelf EQ and took out some 80 hertz out of that piano too, just to where it's not clouding up the guitars and things around it as much. So that sounded good. Let's move on to the next thing, which is the guitars. I got a lot of guitars. That guitar, and then this one, which is called heavy guitar, so it's a that's a melody guitar is what that is. It's playing the melody line. This is my song, but it was so long ago I don't remember every single thing that's in it. And then I've got this fills track here, which looks pretty cool. What's this fill? That's the high part that goes with the other track, but when it ends it has this cool little that's just me shaking my finger on the string when I was playing that, and the beginning of that harmonizes with these other two tracks, and then there's a guitar solo that goes on top of it. It's pretty cool. You know, I was really trying to do something cool back when I did this, so let's hear that part. Let's add the guitar solo on the top of those little
well, they're octave. That little octave melody part, let's put the guitar solo in now. So that's the really cool middle section for the song, and that's all sounding pretty good together. The vocal track really doesn't have a lot going on with it. It was tracked through that great river, so it sounds really good. And I do have it running through the Yuri LA10 compressor, just like in the last mix video. So that's the compression on the vocal that you're hearing. And then we've got an outro lead that I actually lost this part, and so I just re-recorded this. This is a Strat through a Univibe, and then I put it through in the mix. I've put it through the Nu X Atlantic delay and reverb on the 60s tape delay setting with some plate reverb. So that's how that works, and that sounds pretty good right there. I like that. So let's go back to the beginning of the mix and tweak things a little bit more. I have the drum submix over here that's going through the LA Audio 4x4. That's these two faders, if I didn't mention that already. Something about the way that guitar sounds is not sitting exactly right in the track. Let's see, where is that on the console? So took out that annoying high mid frequency and just kind of smoothed that out, and I also put a little bit of the shelving on it and pulled that out, but I may undo that here in a second. A little bit of that guitar going to the Nu X Atlantic delay and reverb, and I think that was the problem. It was spreading it out too much, so I took that melody guitar kind of out of the other reverb, and I don't have it going to the Yamaha Rev 500 either. That's mostly the solo sections and the lead vocal that are going to the Yamaha, and then the snare and the toms, because they sounded a little bit small. Just a touch of reverb on them, they sound good. There's no compression on any of these except for the parallel compression with the LA Audio 4x4 over here on these two faders. And I've got quite a bit of that parallel compression that's making up a really good drum sound here in this mix.
So the compression on the subgroup that I have the kick snare and toms running through is it's the LA Audio 4x4, and it's linked. So those are the settings that controls both sides of this, since that stereo link button is down. And you can see I have the ratio there right between 3 and 6, so it's like 5 roughly, 4.5, 5 to 1. And the attack I've got a little slower, didn't want it to kill the drums. Release is a little faster than 1 second, or 0.1 second rather. And so that's those settings. This is the bass guitar, which is the Symmetrix 501 compressor. And those are the attack and release settings that I'm using there. And the lead vocal is this Yuri LA10 compressor. And you can see where I have the detector circuit set right in the middle. Attack and release are both medium fast. Ratio is 3 to 1. I'm using the FMR Audio RNC compressor on the mix bus today. It's in super nice mode, and those are the settings: 2 to 1 ratio. The attack is 2.0, release is 0.3. Yamaha Rev 500 reverb is set to the large room 2 preset, and again I have a little bit of the snare drum and the toms going to that, as well as the lead vocal and the acoustic guitar and the electric piano. So I'm going to go ahead and print this mix now. I think I got it sounding pretty good.
Feelings of
hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed this song from my 2010 album Subliminal Moonshine. Make sure to check out the original version of that song. There will be links in the description of this video. Also, make sure to click the like icon, thumbs up thingy. Subscribe to the Twin Creek Audio YouTube channel. Tell all your friends about the Twin Creek Audio YouTube channel if they're into this kind of thing. I mean, don't bore them to death like your girlfriend. Be like, hey, watch this mixing dude on YouTube, because they probably won't appreciate that. But otherwise, tell your friends. And thanks so much for watching. Hope you all have an excellent day, night, evening, weekend, weekday, hour, minute, second, nanosecond, whatever it is you're having. Have a good one. Thanks so much for watching. Again, since I already said that before. Y'all have a good one.